This is the Variety Sports Network, created for the fans, by the fans. Now to your host of tonight's show.
And welcome to another edition of the 7th Inning Stretch here. I'm with you late July. Brian Johnson, my co-host with me, Josh Edwards, will probably be joining me a little bit later in the show. Until he does, I got Brian the main man Johnson. Johnson, you're with me on a rare baseball episode here, the 7th Inning Stretch. We got a lot to get into, my friend. We're right here at the trade deadline, August 1st. Division races. There's tons of divisions within 2 games here. Then we're going to get into some sleeper teams to possibly that could possibly win the World Series, as well as a former MVP that's absolutely on fire. How you doing tonight?
Good. Looks like we're going to get into the dog days of summer, so that's when it gets interesting for baseball because the races start. I think the true teams get to the top of the divisions, and the pretenders start falling down.
We get to start to fade a little bit. We separate the men from the boys, Johnson. Is that the Rudy speech? We're ready for that a little bit? No doubt. We'll get into that. Well, like I said, we'll kind of touch on pretty much all the division races as well. So we appreciate anybody tuning in here on 7th Inning Stretch here. Got to shout out our guys here. My guys, Ryan tuning in. He's a Chicago fan out there. His last name is kind of like Roengarter. It's not Roengarter. But I always feel like I'm going to mess it up like that manager did. So that's kind of what I'm just going to call Ryan for that. He's a Cubs fan.
I want him to see him throw a ball from the outfield to the catcher.
Exactly. No, but he's a great guy. But he retweeted our stuff day later. We've had other conversations before this. And we'll get to definitely talk about his guy Bellinger a little bit later there, but I give him a bad time because I can't say his last name for worth a darn there. Got a shout out on my guy Doug there over at House Agenda, Brandon as well over at Variety Sports Network, and our guys over at Far End of the Bench and Out of Your Falcon Mind. Be sure to turn into those podcasts as well over at Variety Sports Network. Brian, let's get this thing going here. 7th Inning Stretch here. All right, before we get into division races, there's only, 4 games today at all, and then Ohtani was involved in 2 of them. All right, he goes right away with it, and in the first game, he ends up going 9 innings. All right, gives up one hit and gets the win. The second game, he ends up getting 2 home runs. He does leave with cramps, though, Brian. He does leave with a little case of the cramps. No shock if you're pitching as much as he is. What's your thoughts here on just Ohtani in general, and how? I mean, what we're seeing from this guy, man, is just out of this world. In a doubleheader, nobody would be able to throw 9 innings, and then the next game go out and hit 2 home runs and lead your team to 2 wins like that. It just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, I'm sure the heat didn't help out here. I'm sure he's dehydrated from that.
He was in Michigan. He was in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that's probably why the Angels shut down the trade rumors and they said we're going to stick with Ohtani because this guy's just he's a monster. I mean, he's just an unbelievable player. Yeah, you can't do it. So,
do you think it's smart that the Angels are going in and now they end up trading for Giolito today? Do you think it's smart that they ended up doing that?
Would you have gotten enough to really? I think it's good that they didn't get rid of him because I think there would have been backlash if they would have gotten traded him somewhere else. So I think you have to justify what you're going to get to trade him.
Would they have had to take those signs off the flagpoles out there? That was part of it. They would have had to remove a lot of those flagpoles out there. You can't trade the guy. Whatever, we'll get to maybe Giolito a little bit more, but you can't be. I don't know. The one thing with the Angels is their decisions they've made at the trade deadline recently, Brian, is not good history. They haven't it's never really worked out for them in any way possible. They haven't been able to make any moves that has really worked out for it. Our guy Adam tuned in. Trade him to the Rangers. When you gave him Jug, but you gave him Josh Jug would you willing to give that up, Mr. Josh Jug? There, he's a beast, though. I just got to say that about him. No doubt about it. All right, Brian, let's get into the division races. They're really heating up here as we get to it. Let's go to the AL West. Is there a rivalry brewing between the Astros and the Rangers a little bit? Is there a little rivalry going there now?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, they've been getting in brawls, and it seems like there's a little heated thing going on between the teams. And it's going to be interesting to see, what team, makes the push at the end.
Simeon seemed pretty excited about the win. He was, I think, a
Yeah.
little in your face. Yes, after that home run yesterday, Garcia gets into it with the catcher yesterday after the home run. I'm hoping there maybe is a little rivalry. I'd like to see that in baseball. It's too bad it's whatever, not our age in the AL West, but it's nice that there's two teams at least like that maybe hate each other. I mean, the Rangers the Astros have such a stranglehold on that division. It's literally going to be somebody taking it from them. They're not going to just give it to you. That's why they only hold it. That's why they're only down 2 games. And I guess our friend Adam here, I'm guessing, would be a little nervous as well. See what he's got to go here. He says the Astros players and their fans are a bunch of.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time to get another team to win the AL West except the Astros. I think everybody's getting a little tired of them.
Yeah, but can they hold them off realistically? Okay, like I'm serious, right? Dusty Baker, he's got the veteran team, Bregman, Altuve, Alvarez has been out a while. They still have solid pitching, Johnson. I mean, yes, the Rangers are very dangerous offensively. Gray's been a little bit more inconsistent this year than I was expecting. The Rangers, DeGrom obviously is out for the season. Can they hold on for 2 more months? You said the dog days are coming. Can they hold on for the next 50 days here and hold on to a 2-game lead? This is crunch time here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to come down to the wire. So, I mean, it's going to come down to the last week of the season, I think.
So you think I agree it's going to come down to the last part of the season, but I think Bochy could be a part of it for the Rangers as well. He seems obviously that he has 3 World Series rings. We know that with them as well. It'll be interesting with the Rangers if they can do something at the trade deadline, Brian, that maybe can take them over the top if they make a big, big acquisition and they make something that kind of like, I don't know, that maybe like kind of surprises us in some regards that we're not expecting. That takes them over the top. I don't see them doing it because they invested so much in DeGrom and other guys like that. But we'll be curious to see what they do at the deadline for sure. All right, we can stay with that as well. But what do you think as well with we got the right now the division leaders are we got the Rangers, the Twins, the Orioles, the Dodgers, the Braves. They respectively lead the divisions right now. What team are you most confident in that will, other than the Braves, that will hold on to this lead?
I would probably say the Orioles, just because I think they're going to get better as the season at the end of the season because they have a lot of depth. I just think the Orioles are a good team,
and they have even more teams coming. That's the thing. They have even more guys coming next year.
I think the AL Central is a coin flip. It could be the Guardians. It could be the Twins.
The Guardian. I mean, let's go to the standings here real quick. Twins hold a 1.5 lead after tonight over the Guardians. Tigers, they're 7.5 back, but they're 46 and 57. They're done. I mean, the Twins are 4 games over 500. It's crazy to say it, but they've been the most. I mean, it's hard to believe. Like, I still would trust the Guardians though because of Francona.
Yeah, I mean. And it just doesn't seem like the Padres are going to get it together this year.
We got our guy Tyler McGurk here too today. We got to say what's up to our guy T. We're talking about We're talking about Astros and the Rangers there. I'm assuming he's talking about Baker and Bochy, the matchup there, going at it. Dodgers. If the Dodgers do get Arenado, that changes everything. I mean, why would you give up Turner then to go get Arenado though? That's the one thing where I would be a little confused at.
Yeah.
Unless they just didn't want to pay out that money, I guess. Maybe they could split it with the Cardinals somehow, but I don't know. If they do that, that would be a game changer.
Yeah, it would definitely push them even further in the West.
Gold Glove winner. You have Betts and you have Freeman to go with Arenado. Are you kidding me? As your 1, 2, 3, and you have Will Smith, not the actor from Fresh Prince. I know one of Adam's favorite shows there. Not that one as well. All right, so we got the Twins there. I actually kind of like Brian as well in that division with them. Let's go to the AL East. It's crazy to me, the standings in the AL East. The Yankees are in last place and they're 6 games over 500.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. It's been a very loaded division this year. You got the Blue Jays, you got the Orioles, and the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, they've all been good teams.
Orioles hold that 1.5 lead Right, the Blue Jays are 5.5 back. Red Sox 7, Yankees 8. You mentioned the Orioles, so the Rays have been struggling. They're two in their last 8. The Orioles are only 5-5 over their last 10 games. Now, are you saying you want the Orioles to hang on? Like, if you had to put your money where your mouth is, what team would you actually pick to win that division? Money on the line. Are you taking the Orioles?
I thought the Rays peaked at the wrong time. It
Yeah.
was like April, May. I think that the Orioles are peaking at the right time.
Let's go to the NL for just a second as well. So you got the Braves that they've been dominating the NL East all year long. The Phillies are starting to come up a little bit. The Brewers, I love my Brewers. You know that. The Brewers are the team I love the most in this league. The Dodgers now hold a 3-game lead over the Giants. The Giants, I was like, they've been a weird team. Would they win 7 in a row and then they lost like 7 in a row, something like that? It was and now they're kind of riding that wave again, where they're starting to play a little bit better again. Well, it always helps when you play the A's. That's yes, we can all agree the Yankees being in last place is a very good thing. We've both clapped on multiple times on this show at 7 stretch. We've had Josh with us,
but I didn't think the Giants would be where they are right now.
You thought they'd be way worse?
Yeah, because when we were talking about them at the beginning of the year, they just didn't. Nothing stood out on their team, so they've definitely been a big surprise this year.
Well, let's see. We got them at 56-47. They're 3 games out. 4 Arizona's 4, San Diego 10.
Brian, it seems like the D-backs are starting to fade.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said I feel like they were going to run out of steam eventually. Because, I mean, Gallen's been struggling a little bit recently over his last couple starts. And when you depend on a rookie, I mean, it's hard to expect a rookie to play the whole season up to that level. But with that said, Johnson, they're only 4 out. The Giants
it just seems like the Dodgers just have they own that division or something.
Oh, yeah. They own everybody. Yeah. The Giants, though, play kind of well against the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, except when they play them in the playoffs.
Well, yeah. Well, they only played one time in like the last 100 years, and you got to take a cheap shot at them, Johnson. I like that. I respect that. Even with them doing the all unite the Bay last night, A's and Giants, are we friends now with the Giants now? Is that how it works as A's fans?
Because they're chanting, sell the team.
Would you ever wear that split hat where it has the A's on one side and the Giants on the other?
I agree. Ryan McGurk used to say that that's a complete waste of time.
It's the worst hat that anybody's ever created. You cannot have a split hat there with it. I'd be curious if Tyler would wear it. I heard that teams are after Giants pitching. Should they be sellers or buyers? If you're the Giants, how can you not go for it? I mean,
you definitely got to be buyers.
Yeah, they have to go for it. I mean, you're right there in the playoff mix. You have young players that could get the experience to do it. Yeah, you could get Farhan. The computer might say that you could get some good prospects for it, but no, you can't do that, especially with the Giants starting to fold like that. You might not win the division, and I would be highly doubtful if the Giants win the division here against the Dodgers. I wouldn't even expect that to be the case. But I don't even think Giants fans
would still win the wild card.
With 5 games. Sorry,
but you have to admit, Tyler, Kershaw's your daddy.
That was good, Tyler. That was good. The split hat is the dumbest thing ever. It really is. It doesn't make any sense to me why you would ever do that to a fan base of ever. The Giants will be interesting though if they do anything. I don't think the Giants do anything in the deadline. If they do, it's just like a basic reliever. I don't think they go for anybody worth anything to bring home. I just see Farham writing out his prospects.
Yeah, I mean, I feel they're probably going to wait until the offseason and probably make a run at Ohtani for sure.
How about your Pods?
I mean, man, they're sinking like a stone.
What an imagery. I like it, Johnson. I like it. They are. Is Bob Melvin getting canned in the offseason, you think?
I think they're going to.
Goodbye, Bob.
I feel like a blow-up's happening.
I mean, They keep saying that they're not for sale, and then you're like, well, maybe they are for sale. I don't know what's going on. With
I agree with the guy we had on the Fat Boy Fadeaway. He says, what do you do at this point if you're the Padres?
that's not good if you're the GM and you're thinking that. Okay, this is what I mean, you just traded everything for Soto. He's the one guy you would have to trade because he at least has some years under his belt. But then you trade for, you have Bogarts now, you have Machado. That's basically your left side of the infield at this point for the next like 5 years. I don't know. I don't understand why you would just trade Soto. He's one of the best players, like one of the best hitters in the league too. So, I mean, I know he's having a down year, and then you have Snell. Maybe you trade Snell, maybe, because he could get you the most back at this point. I'm sure the Rangers would love a guy like Snell.
Yeah, exactly. Rangers trade for Snell, and they're World Series bound. You still got to get through the playoffs, buddy.
But who are they going to give up? Like Adam, like that's the thing with me. Like I'm like, are they going to give up Leiter, who struggled? Are they going to give up the other guy they drafted from Vanderbilt? Are they willing to give up? And they're not going to trade Jung, obviously. You know what I mean? So like, I'm curious who the Rangers like. Do they just have another prospect out there that is good enough that they could sell them on? I don't know. I think the Padres though are going to need a lot. That's going to be the key. I'd be curious if they got Soto though. That would be an interesting thing for me with the Rangers as well. If they
their offense would be loaded.
They got. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do something though. They always seem to make something happen though. The Rangers at the deadline. Let's see what we got here. They have a deep farm system, so if they do and they're willing to trade it, then they probably could. They should have done it for Ohtani, but obviously they're not going to do it in division there at all. All right, Johnson. Hey, as we move to the divisions here, keep going through it. The Reds. Do you think the Reds are going to overtake the Brewers? Do you think my Brewers are going to hang on there to the division? As you can see there, they got a game and a half lead there over the Reds.
Well, they got that exciting player on the Reds, the guy that's
John Smith.
Not John Smith. No.
Oh, there you go, Dela Cruz. There you go, Brian.
Yes,
you can say
Dela Cruz, yes. But I mean, he's kind of the guy that stirs the drink for the Reds.
Yeah, he does stir the drink for it, but they're not going to beat out my Brewers. That's the team I've been calling out the whole year. Come on, Brewers, we got this. You can do this. We'll hold off the division.
There's nothing like when the Brewers make the playoffs.
Well, there's a lot of better things than that. What do you mean? You love the guy going down the slide?
Like when CC Sabathia and they were in the playoffs, I just thought it was something different.
No, you're right. Like when a team like that, the Brewers aren't like one of those teams that have ever made the World Series really since 1982. We weren't even born. So Adam brings up Bellinger here. Maybe that's a good little segue to what we were going to go to with one of my topics tonight was Bellinger. And like, is he back right now? Is he literally,
yes.
Is this the guy that from like 4 years ago where he was hitting 37, 45 home runs in his MVP season? And then he goes 3 seasons where he's hitting like absolutely nothing. What's he go? He goes back. Let's see the years, Brian. So he starts out going 39, 25, 47. Those are the home runs. And then over the last 3 years, he goes 12, 10, 19. He's at 15 this year. But the most important thing isn't the home runs. It's the average. He went from 239, 165, 210 to now he's batting 312. And I think he's batting like almost like 250 off lefties this year, if not higher. He is the most intriguing team. If you're the Cubs to me, they are one of the more intriguing teams in this whole entire landscape because they have Stroman. They have Bellinger. They could trade to get like a lot back for. And Bellinger, obviously, the way he's hitting could make a big difference in any playoff division race here or into the playoffs. I don't know. To me, he's like, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with him. But do you think he's actually back now?
Yeah, I mean the way he's hitting right now. I mean, he just definitely seems that.
Sure, let's go.
It's just stirs the drink and have it the Ace Cup.
You gotta like that Ace Cup right there, Johnson. You gotta like the Ace Cup.
Just for you, Adam.
Yep. What do you think of Bellinger, though?
Yeah, I mean, I just think he's the way he's hitting 457 batting average in July. I mean, man.
Yeah, he's absolutely raking. He hit a home run last night, a mile against the Cubs. They came back from 5 runs. The Cubs are on a 6-game winning streak now, over 500 for the first time. Are they over or tied? I think they are. They're tied for the first time now. I think since May now they're at 500. They only sit 5.5 games back. Me and that guy Ryan were talking about should they sell or not because he's a team, and we were talking a couple weeks back saying no, they should not sell. You got to go for it. This division is definitely winnable. As much as I believe in the Brewers, to me, when you're that close to winning a division, Brian, you got to go for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because the NL Central is wide open. I mean, anything can happen when
you don't trade your best player.
Yeah, exactly. You can't trade him and give him to a contender like the Rangers or something.
Do you trust the Cubs though?
It's hard to trust. It's hard to trust them, but
the Cubs don't ever make. It seems like, other than the year they won the World Series, they always make kind of like some odd decisions at the deadline.
Yeah, exactly, and
they don't always make.
But I mean, if he gets hot enough, they can rise up in the standings.
A lot of people thought he was doing marijuana during that was that big deal because of his eyes. I always thought that was funny with Bellinger there. Like I said, he's been absolutely raking for the Cubs. The Cubs, what a pickup for them. I just don't see how you get rid of him at this point. Maybe he likes it there enough where he stays with you and seems like be a perfect hitter for that park. Maybe he's found a home. Maybe he's back to MVP form. He's still a young enough player where he can be somewhat beneficial for you. So I don't see why you would do something like that if I was the Cubs. And I'm certainly not trading Stroman as much as he got lit up the other day, too. You need pitching as well. But I don't know. To me, it's kind of cool to see him kind of get back to MVP form a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's there's nothing like it when the Cubs are winning.
What if you had would you be excited about a Cubs Brewers NLCS, Brian?
I don't know. That would be pretty crazy.
Would you be a little excited? You don't sound like you'd be that excited.
Maybe it would be like Cardinals, Brewers.
All right, let's get to our question of the week here, presented by Row One Brand. Use that code VSP15, get 15% off anything in the art gallery. All right, this is a good one, I think, for us. If Adam, you're with us. Maybe Tyler, if you're with us, I'd love to get you to chime in with this. Anybody else tuning in on the comments tomorrow, be sure to leave us a comment on it. Question of the week, Johnson. Start, bench, cut. I got 3 center fielders for you. I got Jim Edmonds, Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran. So not an easy one. So who are you starting out of that 3? Who are you cutting? And who are you who are you benching and who are you cutting?
I'm going to start Carlos Beltran, and then I'm going to bench Andrew Jones and cut Jim Edmonds.
You're going to cut Jim Edmonds. Support little Jim. All right, I think I would start Andrew Jones. I would bench Jim Edmonds. And I would cut Carlos Beltran.
I know. He was a monster back in the day.
He was that year for the Astros of the playoffs.
Yeah. I thought he was good with the Mets too.
He was damn good with the Mets, and he was damn good with the Royals. Edmonds was pretty good with the glove, though.
Yeah, I just didn't like what kind of hitter he was compared to Andrew Jones or Carlos Beltran.
Adams cutting Edmonds as well. Maybe it's the Angels bias. That's right. We're going Angels there on. I don't know, Beltran. I thought that was a good one. I like to post that one. So Jones, I think most people would start Jones though, but he doesn't have that many more home runs. What I look it up, he has. So Andrew Jones hit. What was that? I thought it was kind of crazy. He ended up with Carlos Beltran ended up with 435 home runs out of the mix. Andrew Jones ended up with 434. And Edmonds ended with 393. So they were right around each other in the home run department as well. So I thought that was a good bench start and cut question. Kind of an interesting one as well. Brian, sleeper teams that could win the World Series. What do you got?
I got to go in the NL. I'm going to go with the Phillies and the Reds. And then in the AL, I'm going to go with the team that is in first. I would go with the Astros. And then I would go with the Toronto Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays is an interesting one. To me, that's your real sleeper out of all those teams because they would absolutely have to come out of nowhere. I mean, right now, I believe they would be in the playoffs at this point. but it'd be kind of like that Phillies run that last year to make it all the way to the World Series. But I could see that happening. I think that's a good call right there. How about the Angels? We talked about them early. That'd be a sleeper team for sure. I like your Phillies pick. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I mean, if Ohtani gets hot enough.
Yeah, no doubt. Can we say the Giants? Are they
No.
that sleeper team? I think for me, it's the Reds. The Reds to have the most explosive like talent in a regard. You know what I mean? Which one?
Yeah, you're right. Just for you, Adam.
That's unnecessary. They won the World Series, Brian. They can't be a sleeper team. They can't be. Yeah.
But you said they can't be in first place, so the Astros are not.
All right, that's the case. They can't be in first place. So there you go with that. I like your call on that one.
Well, I'm not going to pick that. I'm not going to pick the Guardians.
How about the A's? Can they come back? Why not the Guardians? That's a sleeper team.
I don't know. I just don't think they have enough offensively.
Not going to be that much of a miracle. All right, these are the teams to me that could be game changers at the deadline. Angels, Padres, Cubs, Cardinals, Mets. They could all trade. They could all trade the biggest names. We talked about Arenado to the Dodgers possibly happening or something like that. That'd be interesting if that ever went down with it. You feel any one way or the other? If you had a hunch, what might happen with one of those teams? Think any one of the Angels said they're done. So if you had Padres, Cubs, Cardinals, Mets, there was talk tonight that Verlander might be involved in a trade. Maybe he goes to the Rangers. What do you think about that? What do you think about which
I'm definitely seeing the Cardinals could be sellers because they're just way out of it. And I mean,
that would be interesting.
The Red Sox?
The Red Sox would be an interesting one, but I like the Cardinals too. I don't think the Cardinals, though, they always strike me as a team that's just going to stay in it.
Oh, really?
Like, when in our lifetime have they ever really just like traded away everybody?
Yeah, I don't mean everybody, but I mean maybe you could get some like really good prospects for Arizona.
They got to trade like John Montgomery.
John Montgomery.
Is that what you're talking about, Big John? The lefty? Because I don't think they're trading Goldschmidt. I don't think they're trading Arenado. I just don't believe it. There's no way that will happen. I would be absolutely stunned if they did something like that. Well, I think the Giants should trade for Tim Anderson from the White Sox.
Yeah, because that's something they would need in their lineup. That's what they're lacking is that that guy that you just go, he's gonna be a good hitter for us. They don't have anybody in there.
I think Tim Anderson also would be interesting because that would be a huge upgrade. I know Crawford's a fan favorite, but I think they could even move Anderson to second. I think they could move him around. I think he'd be an interesting call for the Giants if they could get something done with him. Give me Hicks. Yeah, Hicks would be a good call as well. That would not be bad at all if you guys could get him. And the Giants, though, I think it'd be interesting if they could get him. Tim Anderson's been on fire since the All-Star break. I think the White Sox will try to unload him at the deadline.
Yeah, because they're tanking right now.
They are. I mean, they're going downhill as fast as anything. They might, and like I said, they already traded Giolito. Today, so you know what I mean. There's a good chance they're going to trade even more guys that might go on. I just think there's a good chance that trade could happen. I'd be interesting. I got for a couple other trades that went down was Carlos Santana. He went to the Brewers. It's funny he's still playing. He's been around forever. It feels like. And then Brian, you said big trade yesterday. Rosario to the Dodgers for Syndergaard.
I don't know. I remember the text. Adam was like, "What are the Angels thinking?"
They get Thor. Well, it wasn't even the Angels involved. It was the Dodgers in that one. So those were a few trades that went down yesterday with the hot stove and today. Now it's started to heat up, Brian. Like I said, August 1st is the last day of the trade deadline. And so we'll see if a few other big moves are made. I feel like there is. Like the Verlander one, the Mets to me are just, I don't know. I just feel like if you're the Mets, why not give up Scherzer? Why not trade Verlander?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, somebody could use a veteran arm.
Well, yeah, but why keep them when your team is having such a bad year? Just reload. Baseball is such a weird sport. I mean, Mark Canha should be gone. Like they should be getting rid of all those guys.
I know
That's what
the home run derby hero.
one of the best. Absolutely one of the best. All right, Johnson. What do you got for who's hot, who's cold this week?
I'm gonna
I
go
got Go ahead.
who's cold. I'm gonna go the Chicago White Sox. They're tanking like a stone.
Their manager, they are not done. The Mets are completely done. They should be trading everyone. And I think you're right about the White Sox as well. They should be trying to trade almost anybody they can on their roster that can get something for, because they need to kind of start over a little bit. As much as I love myself, Andrew Vaughn, of course, on the White Sox, their team, they're just not a good baseball team at this point. They don't hit very well. They don't pitch very well. They don't feel very well. They don't do anything very well. So they need to definitely move on for sure. We got my guy Ryan checking in here. Ryan, what's up? Yes, your Cardinals did spank the Cardinals. And we were talking about your Cubs a little bit earlier. They were talking about your guy Bellinger a little bit here and making his case. Is he back as the MVP a little bit? Brian, we were saying that we think Bellinger is going to be back in form. It'll be interesting, though, if they ended up trading him. I don't think they will now that they're 5.5 out.
They can't be sellers at this point.
They can't be sellers now at all. And the fact that they're absolutely on fire right now, and you just can't do that to a team at the deadline there. Bring Ozzie back at him. He batted ninth for him. I saw that. The Cubs are on fire, Brian. That's the team that I'm just most interested with at the deadline here. With that, they play they're, like I said, they're only 4 back in the wild card as well. It's like you said, it's kind of fun when they're like in the mix as well. Because sometimes it feels like the Cubs are always in the dweller a little bit. They play the Cardinals this weekend as well. Then they have a big series against the Reds. So we'll kind of find out a little bit about the Cubs here over the next 6 games.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just see where they're at.
Cody's back. They won't trade him. That's what we're hoping. That's what we're hoping, man, with the Cubs. We're hoping that they don't unload on him. We just feel like his numbers have been too good for them to unload on him a little bit. And we talked about your Cubs too. We said Brian, they've been absolutely on fire. So we'll see if they can pull it off a little bit. We were doing our hot and cold here, Brian, for the week. What else did you have for cold, Brian?
I'm gonna go
just the White Sox.
Yeah, the White Sox, and we definitely gotta go the A's. A's are starting to get cold again.
How about Rob Manfred getting a 4-year deal?
Yeah.
A 4-year extension for Rob Manfred. How does he get a 4-year extension?
I know he's the worst baseball commissioner of all time.
Ryan, thanks for tuning in. We did mention you. We shouted you out a little bit earlier in the show. We had to bring up what was a little Rookie of the Year reference, referring to you a little bit. So you have to check it out a little bit later in the podcast. Appreciate you tuning in, my man. Saying what's up. Enjoy your Cubs winning. All right, it's good. It's good to have baseball when you have a team you can like during the summer, right, Johnson? That's the best part about it. So you have a good one there, my friend. All right, as we're wrapping up the show here, Brian, with winner for who's hot and who's cold. I got cold. Like I said, Rob Manfred. How do you get a 4-year deal? How does that happen? How does this man get a 4-year deal? Everybody, no fans like him at all, but of course the owners like him. He does all their dirty work, but he's terrible at it. He's awful at it. He can't speak. Well, he said the trophy was a hunk of metal a few years back. Yeah. Remember he said that? I mean, how does he get a 4-year deal? I don't understand that. I just don't get how. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it either. It's something that I don't understand. Maybe with the A's, with the situation that's going on right now too, it hits home even more. Like, what are we doing? This guy is a loser. Why are we keeping him? Yes, it is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. He should not be getting a 4-year deal. And he's just not good. He doesn't care. That's the feel I get with him. I don't know. I thought
he just seems like
Odell looked like the best commissioner in the league.
Yeah, exactly. He just seems like one of those rich guys that just doesn't care.
Yeah, but he's that. I remember during the lockout, my favorite part was him with that picture with him having the golf swing. That was great. The practice swing there. So, anyways, that's a cold of the week is him getting that for sure. Tatis Jr., we talked about the Padres. 5 for his last 28, 2 runs, 0 home runs, and 1 RBI, batting 179, Johnson, over the last
that
days.
contract he signed is looking really huge right now.
Yeah, not good. Not pitching well. Not doing well at all. I said I also had for some hot this week. I got the Astro Kyle Tucker, 9 runs, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, absolutely on fire. His boy Nico Horner from the Cubs, 9 for 22, 6 runs, 1 stolen base, 3 RBIs, 4 stolen bases, batting 348, absolutely on fire. Freddie Freeman on fire. Glanslow looks like he might be back a little bit. Johnson as well. Devin Williams for the Padres. A's Giants boycott. I liked it. What do you think?
Yeah, it was cool, and everybody was saying "sell the team," chanting it.
Hopefully it works. I highly doubt it, but that's all we can hope for it. You got any other hot or colds this week?
Yeah, for the hot, I gotta go with the Dodgers. They're getting hot at the right time again.
The Dodgers are definitely getting hot at the right time. Arozarena, I had to add him to the cold list as well. Johnson, 2 for his last 24. I would say not doing very good in that department, so struggling just a little bit. So those are hot and the cold of the week. Corey Seager was in Fuego before the latest injury. He's a conundrum, Johnson. Can he stay healthy? It always has been the case with Seager a little bit. Can he be healthy enough?
It sounds like he's going to be back pretty soon. So,
hey, a guy I forgot about at shortstop that the A's had was, I don't know why it came up, because Corey Seager kind of because he had his brother, the guy from the Mariners too. What was his first name? But anyways, the third baseman there, Kyle Seager, I think it was.
Yeah.
Do you remember the A's had Steven Drew at shortstop?
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that he was supposed to be like the next big prospect. I think he was on the D-backs, right?
Yeah.
And then the A's ended up trading for it. I just remember that name.
He just did not pan out.
Steven Drew. What a name. I thought that was one that we could for sure. So, yeah, those are some good calls on hot and cold this week. The Orioles continue to hold off the Rays. The Rangers, I think yesterday's performance, we'll see how they do this week. Adams Rangers here to hold it off the show. Johnson, any last thoughts on you joining 7th inning stretch this week? How did you like talking a little baseball?
I liked it a lot, and I'm just going to tell Adam, just keep the positivity with the Rangers.
The positivity. Does he need a clicker? Does he need the clicker during stressful innings? Does that relieve the stress? That's a big deal.
Mail the clicker.
That's the big deal. Yeah, mail the clicker deal. Johnson, I appreciate you joining me on short notice tonight on 7th inning stretch. Appreciate my guys, Adam, Tyler, Ryan, tuning in, checking in with the comments. Always fun having you guys check in. Brian, Mark Lepke. Yes. Adam, what would be your all-time?
Hey, if the Braves had won the 1991 World Series, he would have been World Series MVP.
Will you die on that hill? Johnson's gonna die on that hill. All-time second baseman Mark Lepke. I wonder if you polled like 20,000 baseball fans and they weren't like his brother or sister. How many people would say Mark Lepke? You might be the only one. I feel like there's a chance. There might be somebody else like me. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I could have
went Homer, went Mark Ellis.
Mark Lepke was much better. If you're gonna go A's, how about Ray Durham?
That one year they had him.
He was a good player. We had him for a little bit from the White Sox, and then he went to what team, Brian? What team did he go?
San Francisco Giants.
Good knowledge. It's great knowledge right there. Are you still doing that immaculate grid, trying to get your knowledge up on the teams?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I look forward to your NBA fact of the week this week, Johnson.
I'm gonna pick a guy that I can actually pronounce his last name.
Yeah, make sure you don't just spell his name out for me. Make sure you can say it. That's the important part. You got to be able to do that. All right, Johnson, 7th inning stretch. That was fun tonight. Like I said, Adam, thanks for commenting, man. We appreciate it. It makes the show fun there as well. Tyler, thanks for tuning in. Ryan, thanks for tuning in. Anybody else that checked out the show tonight or is going to check it out tomorrow, we appreciate it. Make sure to check out Variety Sports Network. We're trying to do a lot of big things there, Brian. We're doing this. We're going to do Talking the Gridiron, right? So we do Fat Boy Fadeaway. We just want to give you as much content as possible. Be sure we'll be back next week. I'm sure Josh Edwards will be back next week as well. He had a busy week working this week. Brian, he had a baby not too long ago as well. So the man's probably fatigued as can be. So Josh, look forward to seeing you back next week, my friend. For Brian Johnson, I'm Darren Breyer. Brian, peace.
Peace.
Hey, this is Brandon, CEO of the Variety Sports Network. Thank you again for watching tonight's show. Best way you can support us is by hitting that subscribe button, that like button, and hitting the notifications so you don't miss out on the next show right here on the